So Ellie, you commented a little bit, so maybe you can continue on about, you know, things that you learned in the ADTA program, like some coding. You already had that love of data and curiosity. What other skills have you seen as you have been working in the industry and as you hired that are important to be successful in analytics career?
I think it will be a little bit different than what you may expect. I know that when I was coming up and trying to apply to different roles and get hired, I leaned in a lot to the technical, and I think that's something that can trip you up sometimes, is saying that you're good at everything. You know all the packages in Python, which no one would. In practicality, you can't. But the three things that I think that helped me the most would be grit, just really working hard, sticking to it when it gets tough. Just keep going. If you can't get the answer people are looking for, just get them, you know, sometimes you have to give them the B+ effort. But just sticking it through, working hard, and not giving up. People knowing that you're reliable and are doing your best, that goes really a long way when you work with other people. You know, we don't work independently for no one without answering to other people. I mean, working with people is a really important part of your job. Knowing that you're dependable will get you really far. And then the second would be emotional intelligence, being someone who's interested in your colleagues, ask them how they're doing with genuine interest. I mean, get to know the people you work with. That's something I also kind of learned along the way that got me really far, was when people enjoy working with you, they will, you know, help you out, and when you help others, they'll want to help you too. So getting to know your colleagues and kind of getting to understand how others tick and whatnot, that also will go a very long way for you. And then the third one is being curious. When you work with this data, you know, there's a lot of times when you'll see things that are unexpected and you could disregard it. But I would say those are the places where you want to lean in and dig into, why am I seeing something I didn't expect? And sometimes you find, okay, a data feed didn't work, or we don't get this sort of value for this source. But other times you might find a story there that's really helpful to you. So I'd say keep being curious, work hard. I know this program can be really tough. Just stick it through. It's definitely worth it. And then, you know, get to know your classmates, your teachers, and keep going.
Thanks, Ellie. So, and Justin, I'm going to ask you the same question. Particularly as, you know, you've hired, you know, what are the characteristics that are marks of success? And then as yourself as well, but I think it's important that you note those, you know, what we should be calling durable skills that Ellie mentioned. They used to be called soft skills. I hate that. I think durable is more descriptive because those are the skills that an AI can't replicate. And they're the ones that are going to separate you out from those tools that are going to be doing some of that data analytics for you in the future. So with that, Justin.
All right. Honestly, not a ton to add or all that much that's different from what Ellie just said. I mean, maybe the words I use are different. She said grit, I say determination. We both use curiosity. You know, I think that especially for entry-level roles, so maybe the way that I'll define this or distinguish it is there's a difference between whether you're pursuing your first job out of a program or whether you're pursuing the next step in your career. Right? So let's take first job. Right? So first job, what you're looking for on somebody's resume or as an individual, you're looking for, I look for a story. I look for something unique. I look for something that distinguishes or differentiates them. I try to look for something on a resume that shows some form of proactiveness or self-motivation or something where, you know, everybody takes very similar classes, whether you want to admit it or not. Most programs have a very similar base, right? You're all going to take stuff. If you're a data science major, you're going to take some courses where you'll learn some random forest. You'll code in Python. You'll learn Tableau or some visualization software, Power BI. Those are more table stakes. They're not differentiators. So what can you put on your resume that somebody can look at? And I don't know whether this gets past the AI filter or not, so that's where you need to talk to and make full use of all the resources you have here, like Amy and those folks. But I know that when I'm looking at a resume, what gets it off of the pile is something where I go, man, I've got to talk to this individual. I need to know what this is about. So let me give you an example. Well, let me talk about one other thing, is being able to try to connect with individuals, or being willing to put yourself in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation, like a networking environment. I'm a natural introvert. I don't enjoy, let me rephrase. I love doing this type of stuff, but it exhausts me. I will go home tonight and I will barely want to talk to my kids or my wife because we'll have spent 2 hours engaging with each other. So, but being willing to put yourself outside of that comfort zone for you. So let me give it a specific example on this one, right? So, we had an individual that just recently did a summer internship with us on my team. That individual on her resume had 5 years of experience in the Indian Navy. I'm sorry, I had to know that story. We had to talk. The other thing that she did, and the reason that we also got connected, was she participated in this hackathon that we did back in February. And not only did she participate in the hackathon, she stuck around afterwards. She made sure she came up and talked to us so that we knew her name. And then she friended us or connected with us, or whatever you call it, on LinkedIn, right? She took multiple different steps to make herself known to us. And she was able to surface a unique story that made us want to know more about her once we were identified or connected with her. We have data science positions where, I kid you not, we will have 700 or 800 applicants for a single role. You have got to do that level of differentiation if you want to increase your odds, right, of getting out of that pool. So that's a long-winded answer for kind of that first, how do you differentiate yourself with an entry-level position. I'll be much less long-winded on the second one, but when you're looking at advancing your career, the story or the narrative I look for more experienced folks is just that you're willing to take on additional responsibility. You have experience that's either growing you more broadly, so you're doing different things in your career and you're kind of enhancing yourself with different skill sets or in different areas of a business, or you're able to demonstrate that you've gone really significantly and substantially deep in an area. Either of those is okay, right? And either of those is interesting, but you've got to be able to show that you're not just, you didn't just get your first position and settle, right? So as you continue to grow or continue to move through time, you've got to show that growth. And that's really critical for making you competitive with roles that we're looking for 2 to 4 years, 2 to 5 years of experience, especially in the data science world where, again, you're competing with 600, 700 candidates sometimes for a single role.
Thanks, Justin. And let me follow up on that a little bit. One of the things that Justin has mentioned to me before is, it's not just you have this long list of techniques you know how to do, but you've got, follow up on the thing, you both said, this curiosity, you pursued something, you saw something, and so it has a little bit, not just curiosity, but interest in the field or the domain. So maybe talk about that just a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, curiosity to me, Ellie mentioned it. The differentiator between us and some other team, because there are other analytics teams at AA, there's other folks doing data science at AA. They're not the centralized internal consulting group that we are. And the differentiator for us is we don't just write the 2 lines of code that creates the machine learning model, which literally that you can train and code and deploy a model in very little amount of time. And with ChatGPT or any of these other GPTs, you can actually do it even easier than that. You can do it with a natural language prompt, right? What differentiates us, and I think where the curiosity comes into for us, is when you're, let's say you're sitting here and trying to do some kind of a hyperparameter tuning, right? Are you just clicking the button and then taking the output and going, well, here it is, here's the most successful model? Or do you actually understand, like, why is it telling me that this parameter or this particular piece of the model should be functioning this way? Why does the model underperform if I pull out these 5 features? And what happens if I add these other 2? And what, like, that level of curiosity and pursuit, it is everything that we look for in a candidate that would be successful in our role. If you cannot interpret and add that level of value to the discussion, you will not prosper in that type of a role. You might do well in other areas or other spaces, but for the types of roles that we have and that really, kind of consultant-based value-added role, you've got to be willing and wanting to go deeper, and I can't teach you how to do that. You